Hello everyone and welcome to the January and February edition of our monthly movie reviews. This is the series where we talk about all the new movies we saw over the course of a month and we review them in order from worst to best. These are films we saw in the theater or on streaming services and all the places. We decided to put January and February together because we were behind and we wanted to catch up, and also January and February is kinda where all the studios put all their bad movies because everyone's trying to catch up with the Green Book. Anyway, let's get right to the movies.
Right now, hurry up. Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Fighting with My Family is a film I talked about briefly in our last video because I thought this film was going to be awful. But what I didn't know at the time was how awful this film was going to be. And I didn't know how genuinely upset I was gonna get by this movie. I told you guys in the previous video that I'm a wrestling fan, but as a wrestling fan, I can confidently tell you that this film proceeds to make wrestling look fucking lame. It's so poorly presented. It's a fucking joke. I have a hard time believing that even kids would choose this film over the real thing. I thought I was being punked. How did The Rock let this happen? It was also produced by WWE Films, which, you guessed it, is owned by the WWE. How did their own company produce a film that makes their product look worse than what its public perception currently is? Beyond how lame director Stephen Merchant made wrestling look, he actually put more effort into being inaccurate than he did about being accurate about things that are easily accessible by anyone with a Wi-Fi password. The movie pretends that she was the only person trying to change women's wrestling, but that isn't the case at all. Even removing everyone that came before her, she wasn't even the only one there at the time when she was there that was trying to change things. It's fucking dishonest. And it's not like she showed up and it was like, dang, women are respected now. People got mad and upset and started a hashtag and then things changed. But I guess it's produced by WWE Films, so why would we be completely honest about our misogyny? That would be crazy. There's just so many details in the film that range from being straight up false to being straight up false. Like, to cover how much damage this film would do to a casual audience member would require its own video, because if a casual viewer who's never watched wrestling before watched this movie, they would probably assume that this is what happened. Like, the main things that happened, like she wrestled her family as a child, she got recruited by WWE, she debuted on TV and won the title on her first night, but so much in between those broad strokes are so untrue. It's like Stephen Merchant took what happened and was like, how do I turn this into a cookie cutter Hollywood biopic as much as possible? Also, going back to how lame he makes wrestling look in this movie, throughout the movie they tell you over and over again that wrestling is predetermined and like all this stuff and behind the scenes blah blah blah, but at the end of the movie, in her debut match, they made it seem like wrestling was real, like that's how they framed it, like it was an actual match and not something that she knew that she was gonna win. It made no sense. Like, they treated it like it was a real fight, and I don't understand why that was changed all of a sudden when throughout the movie they were telling us, hey, it's predetermined. Even in the second act turning point before the third act, there's a point where the brother is a little bit too physical with Paige and they get into a fight about that. I have no idea what Stephen Merchant was going for at any point during this movie. At least with the wrestler, our Lord and Savior Darren was a fan when he was a kid and approached it from that perspective and told it in an honest and uncompromising way. Go watch that movie, not Fighting with My Family, because it's trash, it's fucking awful, and I'm giving it a 2 out of 10.
And the Oscar goes to...
Hold on, do it.
Crash.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Reign of the Supermen is a horribly animated piece of garbage that I can't believe was made. This movie is based on the comic of the same name, and takes place right after the last movie that had Superman die. No, not BVS. The Death of Superman, the other one, not the one from back then. This one. Anyway, the story is really bad, the animation is really bad. It's not really worth the time of watching. I would suggest watching something like Under the Red Hood, or like Into the Spider-Verse, because it's great. But like, this movie is not good. Don't watch it. And I'm giving this movie a 3 out of 10.
Right now, hurry up. Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah. Oh my God.
If I didn't know that What Men Want wasn't directed by Tyler Perry, and someone came up to me and told me that it was directed by Tyler Perry, I would have believed them, and I probably would have said, wow, that's his best film he's ever made. And I'm giving What Men Want a 3 out of 10.
And the Oscar goes to...
Hold on, do it.
Crash.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Happy Death Day 2 You is the sequel to the 1 out of 10 Happy Death Day. This film isn't nearly as annoying. It actually had a sense of humor. It was kind of entertaining. But this film is an inconsistent, tonal mess, and that's basically it. It was whatever. At times it wanted to be a self-aware time travel comedy thing, and then other times it wanted to be a serious drama about mothers and daughters, and then it wanted to be a horror movie, and it's just like, what do you want to be? Pick a tone, please. And I'm giving Happy Death Day 2 You a 4 out of 10.
Oh, Happy Death Day 2 is a film that came out. It's a 3 out of 10. It's whatever. I don't care about this movie at all. I really don't.
Right now, hurry up.
Goes to
Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Serenity is the latest film from Stephen Knight, director of 2013's Locke, which I thought was just okay. This film is not just okay. The film overall is just strange. The film feels like it could have been a mid-2000s M. Night movie, and that the film's quality with most people is going to be decided by if they liked the twist or not. But this film goes a step further and has the most inconsequential pre-twist story I've seen in recent memory. As you probably saw from the trailer, Anne Hathaway wants Matthew McConaughey to kill her husband, who's played by Jason Clarke. And if that was most of the movie, it probably would have been just fine. But no, most of the film is Matthew McConaughey trying to catch a tuna fish. It takes up so much of this movie. It was so strange. And the twist is like something, you know? It's really not good. But the film could have probably gained some sort of fan base by leaving the conclusion a little ambiguous, which is what I thought was gonna happen, which would have been fine. You could have a discussion with people about whether or not the twist was real or not, but the movie says fuck that and keeps going and begins to explain the entire movie, leaving no interpretation or any narrative possibilities. It's so dumb it honestly made the movie worse. And that's really it. It's a strange movie, and I'm giving Serenity a 4 out of 10.
And the Oscar goes to
Hold on, do it.
Crash.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Escape Room is basically Saw, but fun, but it's still not good. You don't really care about the characters, which are basically stereotypes at best. They don't make simple conclusions. They make ridiculous choices. It's whatever. At a certain point, you just kind of sit back and try to enjoy the contrived nature of the film. It doesn't add anything new to anything. It's a throwaway January film, and no one's ever going to talk about this film ever again. And I'm giving Escape Room a 4 out of 10.
Right now, hurry up.
Goes to
Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The Upside was a really cute little film. It was low-key kind of a feel-good movie, even though The Untouchables years ago did it much better. I really thought Bryan Cranston was funny in the role, even though he was supposed to be serious at times. Kevin Hart was kind of not the same person he is in every other movie he's in. The score is bland, the cinematography is not impressive, but it's a fun little film to watch. Check it out. I'm giving The Upside a 6 out of 10.
The Upside is directed by Neil Berger, the director of The Prestige. The Illusionist, and The Upside is no bueno. It's basically a story for white people who don't have enough racial diversity in their day-to-day life. It's basically Driving Miss Daisy, or Crash, or Green Book. And that story is a strong, poor black man taking care of a disabled, rich white man. And some of you may think, wow, the racial implications of that story are a little bit dated, aren't they? And the answer to that question is yes. Yes, it is. The Upside improves some aspects of the plot from the original, but this film isn't shot nearly as well. Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart do not have the best chemistry together, and there's one huge detail that this film decides to leave out that the original did not. And the lack of that detail in The Upside is more than enough to make it a 4 out of 10.
And the Oscar goes to
Bruh, just go for it. Right now, hurry up. Hold on, do it.
Mark Rylance.
Oh my god.
This is what? This is boring. Delete.
And the Oscar goes to
Hold on, do it.
Crash.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Velvet Buzzsaw is the third film from Dan Gilroy, who directed Nightcrawler, which is one of the best films of 2014. It seems like as time goes on, Nightcrawler is going to be Dan Gilroy's Donnie Darko, in that he peaked with his first feature-length film starring Jake Gyllenhaal as Crazy Guy. I stopped watching Velvet Buzzsaw halfway through it because it was boring. There's nobody with any redeeming or interesting qualities to keep the audience's interest. The horror elements I saw in the first half of the film were lame as fuck. It seemed like he had never seen a horror movie in his life and just did every cliche you could probably think of. But maybe he did know what he was doing and the execution was just off, but I don't know, it just felt that way. And I'm giving Velvet Buzzsaw a 5 out of 10 because I only saw half of it, so I'm gonna give him half credit.
Right now, hurry up.
Goes to
Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The first act of this film is kind of unbearable and annoying to watch. Oh my god. The second act picks it up with some nice catchy songs that are really cool to listen to. And the third act is a heartfelt, thought-provoking piece of Le Cinema that broke my heart into a million pieces. Not everything is awesome, but you have to try to make it awesome yourself. I love that. The animation, of course, still on point. This movie was not as good as the first one, but it's still a nice movie to watch. I'm giving the Lego Movie 2, the second part, a 7 out of 10.
The Lego Movie 2 wasn't directed by Lord and Miller like the first one was, so of course, like the other Lego Movie movies, it was non-essential and boring. I just saw the film a couple of days ago, but I barely remember what happened in the movie. The overall experience was massively underwhelming, and I'm probably not going to see this movie ever again. And I'm giving the Lego Movie 2 a 5 out of 10.
And the Oscar goes to
Hold on, do it.
Crash.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Alita Battle Angel? More like Alita Boring Angles. Oh my god. This film is the latest in the I don't want to shoot anything but a blue screen saga by Robert Rodriguez. Once upon a time, he used to be an inspiring filmmaker, but now he's a hack. The only reason to see Alita Battle Angel is the wonderful work done on Alita herself, who is a completely CG character. The way the lighting on her character matched with the lighting on the real world elements was pretty impressive. But other than that, the movie is fucking bland. It's a cookie cutter, young adult, dystopian movie complete with a made up sport, a romance you don't care about because the leads have no chemistry, an uninteresting collection of authority figures that serve as the antagonists for the young people to rise up against, and beyond that, the director, Robert Rodriguez, doesn't really do anything interesting. With the lack of limitations he has when most of what we're looking at, he could have someone making a computer. And most importantly, Jennifer Connelly, one of the most underrated actresses of all time, was completely wasted, and that's a shame. And I'm giving Alita Boring Angles a 5 out of 10.
Okay, I recorded this after I recorded everything else because I honestly forgot that Alita came out in February, but like this movie is bad. The story is so cliche and boring. The effects are really video gamey, even though like they're kind of fun. I feel like it could be a really good movie when you're drunk with friends, but otherwise it's nothing. I'm giving Alita Battle Angel a 3 out of 10.
Right now, hurry up.
Goes to
Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Fyre is the Netflix documentary about the Fyre Festival that was a scam and a failure and hilarious because people are stupid. And Fyre Fraud is the Hulu documentary about the Fyre Festival that was a scam and a failure and hilarious because people are stupid. Anyway, the production value of the Netflix documentary is pretty good. The amount of footage they have of the behind-the-scenes action was pretty interesting, but ultimately, the integrity of this doc is compromised because it's produced by the company that marketed the Fyre Festival itself. Yeah, the only way you could have found out that piece of information is not by watching the Netflix doc, but actually watching the Hulu doc. The Hulu documentary also has interviews with the mastermind behind the Fyre Festival, so in that way, it's a little more essential, but also you can totally tell he's high as a kite during that interview. They don't say that in the movie, but you can totally tell just by looking at him. So like I said, the Netflix doc has integrity issues, but the Hulu documentary has major presentation issues. It has really questionable editing choices like robot voices transcribing documents, weird cutaway moments. If both of these documentaries became one documentary and got rid of the lack of integrity of the Netflix doc and got rid of the poor presentation of the Hulu doc, then this would be a pretty great film, but that film doesn't exist. And I'm giving both Fyre and Fyre Fraud a 6 out of 10. Would definitely recommend watching both so you can get as much information as possible and you can come to your own conclusions about what happened.
And the Oscar goes to
Hold on, do it.
Crash.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
Glass was the latest film from M. Night Shyamalan, and it was alright. I've seen this film twice now, and a lot of the film feels like it needed extra time for M. Night to edit this movie down some more. There's plenty of lines that could have been cut out, plenty of scenes that could have been cut in half, etc. And it probably would have been good to have the twist at the end teased throughout the film, instead of throwing it in our faces at the end. A surprise out of nowhere twist can work on some people the first time, but after multiple viewings, the shock factor doesn't really exist anymore. And if there aren't any seeds planted in the beginning, the rewatchability factor of the film is almost non-existent. But other than that, James McAvoy is amazing in it. The cinematography is kind of exceptional, mostly talking about the close-ups though, because I was absolutely enamored with those shots. I loved the quality of the close-ups themselves, and I loved the quantity of the close-ups, because there were so many. It was awesome, especially this scene right here in the pink room. It was awesome. But other than that, overall, the film is just okay. Nothing in Glass caused a super negative reaction out of me like Fighting with My Family did, but the two previous films in this trilogy are way better, and I'm giving Glass a 6 out of 10.
Glass was surprisingly good. I really liked Glass. Considering M. Night made the worst film of all time, Glass could have gone a number of different ways. The review sure didn't help its cause either, but after seeing this film I can confirm that it is a good movie. Quick shout out to James McAvoy for playing 23 freaking characters in one movie. He's an amazing actor and he needs to be in more things. Not X-Men Dark Phoenix, because that movie looks real bad. The set design, the camera work, the lighting, it's all so well done in this movie. I really couldn't believe it. I thought this movie was really gonna bomb, but it was really great. Can't wait to watch this movie again too. I'm giving Glass a 7 out of 10.
Right now, hurry up.
Goes to
Hold on, do it.
Green Book.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
Dragonball Super Broly is everything a fan of Dragon Ball Z could have wanted in a film. The animation is on point. You can feel every punch. You can feel every Kamehameha wave that Goku throws at Broly's way. It's incredible. Unlike the previous efforts with Broly, this time he's given a backstory that totally works in the Dragon Ball Super canon. The fight scenes were action-packed, and they were beautiful to look at. I can't believe it. I really want to see this movie again in theaters. As a lifelong fan of Dragon Ball Z, this movie was incredible to watch. Can't wait to see it again. I'm giving this movie an 8 out of 10.
So yeah, that's it. That's the movies. See you on the next video. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be cool. Alright, bye.
Hey guys, be sure to freaking smash that like and subscribe button. Love you.